Well, good Sunday morning. I thought I would be coming from my desktop here in my wife's office, but for some reason I can't get the YouTube live to work right on my desktop. So I'm coming from my phone here. Hopefully, everything's going to be a good signal and everything will be okay. Uh, but I'm not able to, I don't know what's going on with my desktop here. I've rebooted it, and for some reason or other, my channel won't come up right on it. So I'm going to be mobile, but that's okay too. I'll show everybody around the. Good morning, Greg. How are you? I'll show everybody around the building a little bit. I'll turn on some lights and kind of show what we've done in the past few weeks. Let me turn the camera around. Of course, I'm here in my wife's office. The boss lady, as you see. Let me go over here. Let me turn on some lights in the main showroom here. All right. Here we are, stocked up and ready to go now. And hopefully, since I haven't shown everybody this in a few weeks, I'll give everybody a little bit of bird's eye view of what it looks like here in the new Napa store. Yeah, I wasn't a veteran, but my dad was. My dad fought in the Battle of the Bulge, 82nd Airborne, and he was an honor guard for General Eisenhower. So I'm real proud of my dad's service, and I'm real proud of my brother's service. My brother fought, well, didn't fight. He was in right after the Vietnam War, but he was in the Air Force. And then I had two nephews. I had two nephews that graduated from the Citadel, and both of them were in Iraq and Afghanistan, and they served well and retired, and unfortunately we lost one of them just a few weeks ago. The younger of the two brothers passed away with colon cancer. So we've got that to be proud of. Like I said, I'm going to show you a little bit of the store and everything, since I'm here at the store this morning, and I wasn't planning on doing it mobile-wise, but I'll get out here and I'll show you what we've got, what it looks like from the front and everything. There's my big Napa Auto Parts store sign out front. There's the storefront. Of course, here's our sign in the distance down here. Let me zoom in on that a little bit. That's the one on the road. We're doing that. Over here is the big machine that I rented to help me do a lot of different things, haul in some, it's not a great awl, it's a gill, but it's a pretty good machine. It's been doing us good work. As you'll see, I got some bushes on it right there. I did a little landscape work with it yesterday. I was able to pull some big old holly bushes that were up against the building. We're gonna add on to the building a little bit over to the side where those holly bushes were, make us a drop place for the shipments coming in overnight, the totes and everything. But this is the way it's looking for us right now. Hopefully it looks pretty good for y'all. Now I hope my camera's not too shaky. Yeah, I tell you what, that thing is so handy. I'd love to own one of those. I looked at one, JC, the other day, and it was a 06, I believe it was, but they wanted 43 for it. So 43 is a little rich for my blood right now. I'd like to find something in the 20s or 30s if I could find something decent. I don't have to have brand new. I like to have something that worked good. Hey, Lonesome Garage. Yeah, it's a good Sunday morning. Like I said, I'm kind of giving you a little view of what we've got done so far at the Napa store. Let me turn on some more lights through here. We're getting things situated, getting stock in, getting there's my safe. When I get as rich as J.C. Smith, I'm gonna put all my money in there. Yeah, let me turn on some more lights back here. You have to bear with it. I'm turning on lights as I go. And here's our paint room. And then we've got back in here, here's our hydraulic room. Here's where we make up our hydraulic hoses. I've got all the big reels and everything of hydraulic hoses and some different fittings there, and here's all the tray of different fittings and everything else. We're getting ready to revamp this. We're gonna add a good bit to this, but this will be adequate for the time being. As you can see, you've got hydraulic hoses of all kind of descriptions and sizes here. Nice little cheap hydraulic hose reel there. Those will break it off in you when you have to reorder those. Let me keep going back through here. This is the very back room. We still haven't got all the inventory out. We got brake shoes and, excuse me, I about tripped over some of my inventory. We've got brake shoes and totes and batteries. This is the hard part, trying to sort through all from one store to the next. And we're trying to, as you can see, we got tote after tote, batteries, more totes over here that we hadn't gone through. We're trying to keep them organized enough so we can still have a semblance of where our parts are, but it can get overwhelming a little bit. Out here I've got a little bit more organization where we've taken some of the shelving from the other store and we've just put it out here. As you can see, I got shelf after shelf. There's another store that I bought out. I know you can't see all the store that I bought out down in Kings Mountain. And then here's all my good old Napa Gold filters, air filters, fuel filters, oil filters. Yep. Yeah, that hydraulic hose equipment gets really expensive, but you can see a line of hoses and belts and everything, and I've got a little bit of everything back in here too. Like I say, getting all this in order is a tall order in itself. Still in here now. There's those heaters that I want you to come get. And I'm trying to count them, but they're Modine gas heaters. And as you can tell, the thermostat's still on them, and there's power. The fans are still working. Sorry about the buffering, guys. I was getting too far back. I was getting too far back in the building. The building's a pretty good sized building. Let me get closer up here to the Wi-Fi. Hopefully this will be better. Oh man, give me a thumbs up if it's better now. Sorry about that. Here's all of our bolt bends. I was trying to show you the depths of the building and everything, but okay, better? Okay, thank you, Greg. Yeah, I'm trying to show you all the course, I'm glad to be back up here. It's warm back up here. That warehouse is cold. Well, hey, Chris, how are you? Yeah, I'm out here at the dealership, or the Napa store. I call it the dealership sometimes because it was a former Ford dealership, and that we remodeled, for those that don't know that. And here's one of our tractor trees. This is a real popular thing down here. This has got all kind of tractor parts, old parts, new parts, everything. But the guys really like this. I mean, I get a lot of people that love it. I sold a Ford emblem off of one yesterday. Let's see if I have another one. I've got, but you see, you got relays, starters, not starters, solenoids, starter switches, fuel gauges, just a lot of things. Gear shift knobs, all kind of different things. Yeah, I think this, okay, that's a headlight wing. Yeah, what is this? Yeah, that's a headlight wing for a Ford. Let me put it down here where I can see this. Can't even see where I'm at. Get my fingers straight. Yeah, here it is. Whoops. I got that zoomed in. I need to back that off. Let me back off there a little bit. Yep. I got it zoomed in too much. But yeah, and there's a Ford emblem that we've got. It goes on a, what does it say it goes on? Goes and made in, hey, now that's unusual too. Look at that. Made in the USA. I like that. I like the fact that we got USA parts on a lot of this tractor stuff here, and it's not just cheap imports. So I'm tickled with that. So that's been a good seller for us there. We really like that. And then I got another tree in just the other day. It's awfully good. It's a Grody, and we like. I mean, these things are. These are great. Now, JC, you ought to like this. No, it was actually made in the USA. It wasn't packaged in the USA. It was made in the USA. JC, this is down your line, wiring. Look at all these wiring answers and solutions. And I know you're drooling, JC, because you've probably used every single item on this tree. I guarantee it. We got all kind of switches, all kind of, well, there's a little bit of everything, all kind of connectors, 7-way plugs, regular plugs, adapters. Of course, there's your battery ends. Just going on through that, but that's a good tree. We like that one. Of course, down below we got all of our tools and everything. Kind of have to have them caged in so people won't get them. Yeah, I tell you what, you never get enough of that. I guarantee you could run through that in a few weeks, couldn't you, JC? With all those parts like that. But we're trying to have a good supply and a good little store for everybody. We got some DeWalt, some Milwaukee, some different Carlisle tools. Got some channel locks. And we got some gear wrench. A little bit of this, that, and the other. I won't bore you with every single item we've got, but I think y'all get the gist of it. We're trying to have a nice store and try to accommodate everybody that we can in this area. It's tough. I mean, you think you got enough parts, and then somebody will come in. That's right, chain buckets. Yep, got that, and got the got the good old wrench to cut the chains with. Well, now I got that wrench turned around. Oh, me. Now I shouldn't have done that. Well, I'll reset it. Okay, here we go. I was messing with it, and I need to reset it. I'll set it down though. Okay. Yeah, we try to have a lot of things for, farmers and people in construction, people that work with their hands a good bit. I mean, that's it. There's a Ketter table. Now these things are neat. I don't know if y'all have ever seen these, but boy, these are neat little tools, tables. I have several of them myself, and we're selling these Ketter tables. Of course, over here I got some new jacks. There's a 2-ton jack, Carlisle jack. And then there's another, what size is that? Another bigger Carlisle jack. Several of these jacks. Of course, the good old oil change. Yeah, okay. Some good old oil change. Things. Of course, now here we've got some gas heaters. That's something you need for your shop, JC. I know. Everybody needs I believe this one's propane here. Yeah, that one's a propane. Or is it mixed? Propane forced air heater. Okay, that's propane. And this one is, what is this one? This one's got a tank, so I would imagine this one is kerosene. Yeah, that one's kerosene or diesel there. And everything. But we're getting there. It's been tough to, get everything situated, but we're getting along. That's right. Yeah. I don't know if you were able to see those. I'll turn it around here a second. Whoops. All right. I don't know if you were able to see the heaters I had out back. My stream was buffering a little bit when I was out back. But I've got, everybody uses diesel. Yeah, kerosene, yeah, more diesel is used than anything. Now what I'm using at my shop is the reclaimed oil heaters. I'm using, we got one called Clean Burn that we use. We've had several of those. Of course, Napa sells them too. Napa's wanting me to switch over to their brand. Yeah, those gas heaters, I've got plenty of them down here. And like I said, a lot of them evidently are still working fine. I mean, the fans are working, the thermostats are still on. Whoever was in here before, they didn't cut the thermostats back. And the fans are working flawlessly on several of them. Now there's some of them, looks like somebody's robbed a fan or two, and there's different descriptions of them, but I would imagine that 90% of them work really good, and a person could park some of the others if they needed to. Yeah, well, I know it, and that's the thing to do it, Chris. I've had the people come by that do the waste oil and try to buy my oil. I go, no way, man, no way. I probably store 2,000 gallons right now of waste oil. Yeah, well, they do. That's the beauty of having all those semis, because you're looking at 10 gallons every 5 weeks per truck. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm saying, you wouldn't believe how many gallons. Like I said, I probably have 2,000 gallons right now. My thing is, my guys were using, just leaving the doors open. Let me situate my phone here a little bit so I don't have to hold it. Yeah, my guys were actually oil concrete forms. Okay. My guys were leaving the doors up and had the heaters on. I said, guys, don't, I know I got plenty of oil, but don't waste it that much. I mean, they would, just get the shop toasty and everything, and then crack the door. And they said, well, we like the fresh air and everything. I said, well, cut the furnace off if you want some fresh air. So they were doing it to their advantage. They weren't buying it. Yeah, I've got plenty of oil. Thank goodness. That's, like I said, that's the beauty of that. And then if I open up the service center here, that's what we're going to try to heat the whole back with is and also the other shop too. When I get moved into it, we're going to try to use the oil and everything with that, the recycled oil. Hey, Walter. If you're talking to me, Chris, no, I actually bought one. I've got two of the what they call Clean Burn. I don't know where Clean Burn's made, but it's a real good system. They've got them. They're big down here in North Carolina and South Carolina, but I've got what they call the Clean Burn oil furnace, and it does a great job. I've got one that's pretty good size in my big shop. I forgot the BTUs on it. I think it's 75,000 or maybe 100. I don't know. I can't. I'd have to look at it and see. It heats I got a 60 by 160 shop, and it'll heat it up in just a few minutes. Not hours or anything. I mean minutes. It does a great job. You'd be surprised how much heat that it throws out in a short period of time. Of course, now I have it insulated well too. Yeah, they, like I said, if you look up Clean Burn, that's the name of the one that I've got. I've got two of them, and then Napa sells those too. Napa sells those waste oil heaters too, and I may have to check out one of theirs since I'm a Napa dealer and see what I can get it for. But the Clean Burn guys, theirs is pretty good, and they service theirs good. That's clean. No, it's clean like CLEAN, not KLEN. It's clean like the word clean. CLEAN. I guess my southern accent. Yeah, my wife was getting on to me about something I was saying yesterday, or actually it was my grandson. I forgot what it was. But I said something, and I said, that's what I said. He said, no, you didn't say that. Yeah, clean, like you're cleaning a product or whatever. Yeah, like I tell people, I've been out, when I was out west the last time I was in Salt Lake City, and I was talking with a bunch of the other people, and of course, I'm a big talker, so I was doing a lot of the talking. And the girl that was a waitress came up to me. She said, where are you from? Of course, I usually gave them my line that I always do. I said, I'm from a little town between Dallas and Waco. And their response is, oh, you're from Texas? And I go, Texas has got a Dallas and Waco too? Because if you look on the map, my little town of Cherryville, on both sides, one on to the right of us is Dallas, and to the left of us is Waco. So I'm actually between the towns of Dallas and Waco, North Carolina. And that always is a little bit of pretty good little kick for me, I think, because people think, I guess my southern accent, some of them think Texas, or like a good friend of mine from England asked me one time, he said that, he said, don't take this as an insult. He said, but you remind me of somebody that's on TV. Well, I'm thinking, hey, George Clooney or somebody, No, I reminded him of Foghorn Leghorn. So my voice goes, and I said, yeah, I say, ma'am. So I guess I appear to be Foghorn Leghorn to some people with the voice. So, course, he's one of my favorite characters on the Warner Brothers cartoons anyway, so I like Foghorn Leghorn. That's right. Yeah, it got my feathers all ruffled when he said that. But you know, it is what it is. I guess I'm not going to be able to change my speech. But from everybody north of the Mason-Dixon, just because I'm talking slow does not mean this is a speech impediment. It's just slow. Good morning, Jeff. Yeah, well, Jeff is one of my mechanics. Yeah, that clean burn works great, doesn't it, Jeff? You say y'all only got it set at 60 degrees out there. It was warm out there the other day when I was in there. Yeah, it was really warm. But I have to get on to them. Sometimes I'll catch them with the door up and the heater going at the same time. But we carry a lot of oil. But if we add one more building to it, though, our supply will probably get thinned down a little bit. But we're going to try to move the entire shop over here to our Napa facility. I mean, I've got eight acres. I think I was telling JC the other day, when we did our final closing on the property, the lawyer came to me and he said, he said that we thought it was 7 acres of land, but we did the research and you have 8 acres of land. So I was able to get an extra acre out of my property out here, which is great. I mean, I knew it was a big plat of land. I knew when you look at the actual plat that it's a large amount of acreage, and I was tickled that I was able to get 8 acres instead of 7 acres. But I've got a lot of room to expand out here, a lot of room to put some more buildings or add on to these buildings or whatever we need to do, and I'm real pleased with that. And you know, so the idea of having, you know, more usable space is always great. So that's where we're at right now with the two big buildings we've got. Oh, I don't use, now when we use our oil, we just use oil. We do not dump anything. We don't put gas, we don't put antifreeze, we don't put anything but oil in our oil. And I make that specific to the guys. It's not a waste fluid system, it's a waste oil system. I mean, they tell you right away, if you mix gas in there, you can blow the furnace up. So you've got to be very careful. And if you put antifreeze in there too, it'll put too much pollutants in there too. The best thing to do is just run it pure oil into the system, and the system will work good. I mean, if you've got to dump antifreeze and everything else, it can mess it up. Well, I mean, yeah, you're going to get if you're dumping oil and you got a little bit of a mix, and once if we know we got that, we try to push that to the side. I mean, I don't try to. It's a Clean Burn oil. Name of the company is Clean Burn, is the one I use, and it's a red. If you go online and you just spell it out, CLEAN, Clean Burn. It's a real good waste oil heater, and I highly recommend it because I've had the one about, let's see, I put it in when I built the building. That's almost 15. I've had one almost 15 years, and it's still doing a good job. Now we service it pretty good. Now the other one, yeah, we gotta. If you get contaminated oil, you don't want to use it in one of these waste oil heaters. I mean, once you dump your oil, you're going to know if it's contaminated or not. Yeah, we go through a lot of oil, so yeah, we save a boatload as far as heating the building. I mean, I haven't. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you don't want if your engine oil looks like a windy shake, you've got more serious problems than a waste oil heater. That's for sure. You better check out that engine. You've got an oil cooler going bad, because there's nothing worse than having an oil cooler go bad, and you look in, like I said, you look in it and it looks like a milkshake, but that's definitely a sign of that happening. I'm gonna get my little spoon out here. I'm gonna I'm gonna have to get something in the belly in a little bit, because I don't want to blow away. Yeah, yeah. Any of those situations will, probably give you the old milky look. That's for certain. Yeah, we got one of our newer trucks. We got, I believe it's a 14. We got one that we're gonna. They say get the box, put the box on it, but we may just do a. Now, I wish I had sausage, biscuits, and gravies. I got yogurt. Yeah, yeah. We don't do oil for other customers. I mean, we don't yet. I mean, we may be, in the future when we open up the shop. Uh, but as it stands right now, we pretty much know the product we have, so we're not in bad shape using a waste oil heater. I mean, it it's just like our Freon machine. If you use too much, if you get somebody that's using the Freon wrong, and they've got if they've got the stop leak in the Freon, you can tear your Freon machine up. So you got to be careful with all that. They warn you real quick about that. Oh, good gracious! Got to fix the washing machine. Yeah, yeah. I hope it's not anything major. Although I'll tell you a story. This happened to me when I was working here at this dealership, and I was a little bit of a handyman, salesman, parts guy, whatever they needed me to do at the time. I was young, and I would do about any little handy job that Mr. Beam wanted. And his washing machine went out, and what it was, I went over there and looked at it, and the motor was running fine, belts was on it fine, everything was doing fine, but looked at it, the agitator wasn't working. And so I pulled out the agitator and looked, and it had cracked. The plastic on the agitator had cracked. And I went back and got some JB Weld and some super glue in a couple of spots, and welded that plastic back together, I guess, or formed it back together, and put his agitator back in his washing machine, and it worked perfect. I got it. I did it. I sealed it up so good it worked perfect for. I I want to say to the motor went out. They kept every time they saw me, they'd laugh about that. It said, "You fixed our washing machine with super glue," and all the repairmen said I needed a new washing machine. So he always gave me a thumbs up for that. So it makes you feel good when you can accomplish something like that. And Mr. Beam didn't have to spend but about $3, in my time, and about $2 or $3 worth of parts, and I had that washing machine fixed, and he didn't have to go spend $500 or $600 for a washing machine. So Mr. Beam always kind of gave me a thumbs up. I think he liked me for that, because I was young and would try some things, and I tried it and it worked, and what the heck. So maybe you can fix yours with super glue, JC. I don't know what the problem is, but that those you never give up. Yeah, I can imagine. If it that's one reason we use a cleaning service for our guys for their uniforms, because my guys, when they're at the shop, they're filthy at the end of the day. I mean, they don't they don't look. I mean, you don't want to take those clothes and throw them in a mix with the rest of your clothes. They're plenty greasy. So we use what is the name of that service? Jeff, you're in here. If you're in here, just I can't remember the name of that service we use. Uh, well, anyway, we use one of the uniform services, and they bring the rugs out for our Napa store, and we got uniforms for the Napa boys too, and then all my mechanics have uniforms. Yeah, yeah, you're getting a better deal because you look like a homeless man, huh, JC? Yeah, that. My head mechanic Larry. Now he does that. He will he goes to yard sales big times a lot of times, and he'll look like he looks tattered and looks like a homeless person driving his old beat up car, and he'll go out and buy stuff. A lot of times he'll do that and then buy it, and then when he gets through buying it, he'll say, you know, I need to go get my pickup to pick this up. And they say, okay, that's fine. And I know the people are thinking, well, he's going to come back in an old, tattered up, beat up old pickup. But he's got he's got a 2016 Dodge Dually right now, so 4-wheel drive and everything. So he comes back in a $50,000 pickup to pick up these yard sale deals that he gets for 50 cents and $1 and everything else. But he's a character. He's a real likable fella, but he does the same thing you're talking about, JC. He'll give the appearance that he hadn't got a dime or a pot to pee in, as they say, you know. But Larry does pretty good for himself. I know how much I pay him. Larry's a well-paid mechanic or shop foreman, and you know, when we try try to pay all of our guys good. So, you know, that's how you keep employees, and you keep employees like that. Larry, I said time and time again, he's very invaluable. I mean, you know, you can't put a price on him. He'll get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. He's working round the clock for me 7 days a week if he needs to. Never complains. I mean, he's, you know, like I said, Jeff was in here a minute ago. I don't know if he's still in, but Jeff will tell you that Larry is one of the most likable people that you would ever want to meet when you meet him. He's very likable, gets along good with all my suppliers. You know, he's able to, well, I mean, he keeps me rolling. He keeps me rolling. If I call him about a headlight or a clearance light out at Charlotte, he'll take off and go to Charlotte and do something for me. And you know, whatever it takes to run the business, he jumps in there and does it. This past week, he was helping clean out the old Napa store. Him and Jeff were up there cleaning that out, and Cintas, that's who it is. I could not think of that name for some reason. Yeah, Cintas. Yeah, and Jeff will tell you, Larry's a super good guy to work with. You know, and that's what we're trying to do. We try to have good harmony at the shop, and I try to hire people that will get along with everybody too. They don't have to be the most talented mechanic, but they got to be a likable person that will get along with other people too. I mean, we can train the mechanics, and as they go, if they have common sense, they will work, and they want to take instructions from the other guys that know a little bit more. They'll work out fine with us in our shop. I mean, basically, it's wrench turning, and wrench turning. Yeah, I know. Well, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you saying that. Jeff has been with us about I guess about 7-8 months, something like that. He's our newest mechanic, and we try to have a good shop. We try to have a good shop, and we try to maintain a likable and a good work. You know, I want my guys to, you know, feel excited about coming to work and not feel like it's a drudgery. I mean, the worst thing you can do. I mean, it is a job. I mean, jobs are jobs, but you can make the jobs more likable, and if you do that, your employees will give you a better attendance. Yeah, it's nuts and bolts. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. JC gets out there and roll. I saw that fancy creeper you had the other day. I don't think you have a patent on it. We've used that same cardboard creeper ourselves. we, we use creepers. I'll tell you one thing that we use, and you may want to do this. I'll give you a little hint. If you ever tear out a fiberglass bathtub shower, setup, save it, because they make great covers, and we've designed some that we use. And Larry keeps them. Say if you're caught out in the rain, you can get that fiberglass cover. Yeah, make a super slide. Yeah, that too. I guess we're not into but those fiberglass tub enclosures. If you get them and cut them apart and keep them in sections, you'd be surprised how good that is. I mean, in an umbrella and a canvas, after a while, get to leaking. Yeah, that's what happened. Miss Smith keeps pushing JC down so he'll look like he's doing. She's filming him and then rolling him in the oil so he looks like he's done some work. We know he's not doing all that work by himself, is he? Yeah, JC's a hoot on that. I tell you, I wish I had the energy JC has and the knowledge he has on wiring and the enthusiasm about taking some of these trucks apart, because that is a challenge in itself to take all those everything apart and put it back together. I mean, just about anybody can take things apart, but putting them back together is the hard part. Yeah, you got to do that. I mean, you got to be inventive with your creepers and your cardboard and your fiberglass scrap or whatever, like say some OSB or something lightweight. And Larry used to take with him a beach umbrella. He would take a big beach umbrella with him and put it out there, and had to stand and everything so he could get out there even in the summertime if he was working out on something in the summertime, especially if he had that beach umbrella in case it rained. And those things help. You got to think about how to make you a little shop sometimes on road service. I mean, you got to be able to get out there almost like your camper. You almost need an awning. Yeah, yeah. That's for sure. Yeah, you got to keep yourself dried out. Keep a lot of dry clothing and everything, because you can get soaked. I've been soaked before on road trips, soaked and oiled up and everything else. But that's part of the job. It's part of the job. It's whatever we make of it, and all that sort of stuff. Well, I hope everybody's having a good Veterans Day today. It's a little bit chilly out here in North Carolina. I believe JC's finally made it blow down here to the south. I think it got down to about 27, 28 degrees down here this morning. I know the sprinkler system is still working in my house. My wife's sprinklers sprinkled over onto the car this morning, our BMW, and I went out to crank up the car, and the door was froze because the sprinkler system had soaked the side of the car. So I had to go through the other side of the car to open the door, turn on the heater to let the car defrost so I could get everything. And the windshield was solid sheet of ice because, like I said, she'd parked it right near the edge of the yard where the driveway is, and the sprinkler system was just flooding her little BMW, and so I got it soaked this morning, got it frozen this morning because it was just cold enough to freeze down here. But finally, all the leaves will probably drop. We've had green leaves down here longer than I ever remember, I believe. It's usually by the middle of October, we got pretty fall colors and everything. And I mean, I'm looking out across the road right now, and I'm seeing oak trees full of leaves and green as they can be. I mean, it's the season has really been strange this year, but now it's probably going to jump straight from summer right into winter for us. And we're going to have a short fall, you might say, because the fall season is already shortened up here. It is the first of November, toward the middle of November, but it's going to be a short fall season. or autumn or whatever you want to call it, the like I said, the leaves are still green. And you know, in the mountains of North Carolina, usually the mountains of North Carolina are really pretty. Greenbacks, yeah, yeah. Well, we'll hopefully we'll have a short winter season down here. I hope we don't have a rough one. I'm nervous because I've been lucky for the past few years. I've trimmed down some of my runs going into Tennessee. I still have a couple of West Virginia runs, and we've got one Virginia run goes up toward the middle of Virginia. But I've got let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs that go into Knoxville, Tennessee area, and that's the ones that usually give me a fit when the wintertime comes. Going through the gorge, going through that gorge it can be a pistol. Now they clean it pretty good, but still, snow in the south it just don't mix. I mean, we don't have enough snow removal equipment down here to handle it. Now, when you get up into West Virginia does a great job. I mean, you get on the turnpike. Okay. So you're using a wood stove in the house? We used to. I love the smell of a wood stove and everything. We used to years ago, but I haven't used. We're down here in the south. We don't have to. Heat pumps do a pretty good job, and you know, heat pumps will, you know, are efficient up down to about 30, I think 30 degrees or something like that, 28, 30 degrees. They're still fairly efficient. And we don't have that many days below that. I mean, you know, we're not getting inundated with that much snow and everything else. I mean, if we have 4 inches of snow for the year down here, that's a big season, 4 to 5 inches. And sometimes we've gone almost a complete year with just snowflakes and some flurries, a few things like that. So I like that. I don't want too much snow down here, and especially in the transportation business, I don't want snow. So that's the least amount of snow that I have to deal with, the better off I am, because it's tough. If you get cold, put some more wood in the fire. Yeah, that's right. Stoke it. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing, I tell you, there's nothing that'll warm you up as much as a wood fire. You know, that's as long, if you got a wood stove, and, you know, just be sure and don't try to burn sweet gum. Sweet gum, you'll have, and it stinks too. I cannot stand the smell of sweet gum trying to burn it, and you can't burn it. That's the worst wood to try to burn is old sweet gum. You might get some kindling off of it, but gosh, you can't burn it. Now, good old pine, you can't beat the smell of pine burning, and oak. I like oak and hickory. Hickory, oh, I love the smell of hickory burning, but don't ever try to burn all that old sweet gum, and it'll sit in that stove forever and never will burn. You'll have to pull the stump out. Ash, cherry, and oak. Yeah, now that's a good smell. You know, I like to smell ash and cherry. Like I said, I guess hickory's my favorite. Hickory's my favorite as far as the smoke smell. And of course, a lot of the barbecue places around here use hickory to burn for their open pit barbecue. So when I smell hickory, I'm thinking of barbecue. I guess that's the reason I like the smell of hickory so much, because it does. When you hear that, when you smell that hickory smoke, I mean, it smells good down here with the barbecue. But that's the way it is. It's pretty cool. Well, or pretty warm in your case. Yeah, I like that. I remember, you know, I guess we've gone in cycles down here where you know, oil was cheap when I was young. Oh golly, yeah. You're getting a sweating if you're in this 74 to 80. I know my brother kept my mother
the last few years before we had put her in rest home, and she loved the wood stove. He had to keep a wood stove going for her, but it got to getting dangerous for her, so he had to take it out. We were afraid she was going to open the stove and something pop out and you know catch the house on fire with her. So he finally took his wood stove out, but she loved it. She loved it while he had it, and but when she started getting dementia and everything, we had to kind of watch that kind of stuff. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I bet JC's going through a good bit of wood up there in Ohio. It, I wish you were down here. I got. Yeah, I've been there before too, where you had to crack a window to cool it down to circulate out. You'd get too hot. There's nothing worse than falling asleep on the couch with a wood stove, and you wake up and you wake up because you're sweating so bad. I've done that. But yeah, it'll keep your feet so warm, and boy, that's the life. You can. I used to watch a ball game and have the wood stove going, and be like I say, laying there watching a ball game, and of course it takes about 5 minutes, and the TV's watching you instead of you watching the TV when you like that, and that's, but that's comfortable. That's a good Sunday afternoon sometimes for us. Let's do like that. Uh, I like a toasty room like that so I can watch TV, or like I said, or the TV will watch me. Yeah, well, and that happens too. If you can't regulate, now sometimes I mean you 5 chords a year. Yeah, yeah. JC, you was talking about getting up. Of course, I have to get up that many times a night to pee, so so it would be right down my line right nowadays. I mean, the older you get, the more times you're going to be doing that. So I get up to use the bathroom 2 or 3 times a night. Sometimes it seems like depends on how uh, how much liquid I've drank the day the day before or whatever. But it it's all relative, I guess. Yeah, and I got some friends that have got that, Walter, that have got the trash burning, uh, and then they run it. They run the water system through their. I've got a friend that lives close to my son, and he's got solar heat. He's got solar hot water heat on his roof that heats his hot water heater, and then he's also got that, and it goes through his furnace too. He's got one of these outside furnaces that heats up, and it's contained, and then it heats the water that go, and he has the pipes underground, insulated pipes underground that goes back through his furnace system. Basically, he's just using the fan off the furnace, and he heats his house that way. Pretty good system, pretty good system, and he can. It's a big boiler, so it works. It works a long time, and he burns his trash and burns wood and everything else. I mean, it's sort of a waste catch-all type thing too. So those. There's a company down here in North Carolina that builds those. Yeah, now that's the way to go, JC. If you had my brother-in-law built a house up in the mountains. Now he put the radiant heat in his. He's got pretty neat. He's off the grid. He has a solar house. It's a large house too. He's the one that's the doctor. He put the money into it though. But he put the solar panels out there, and he has a backup generator on propane, and he does his house through solar, and he has the radiant heat in his floor like that. And that radiant heat is fantastic. I mean, you don't if you realize it, when you lay that out, and they got a special type PEX, I think, for that uh, that they put in there, and you kind of put it all down and pour cement over it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I tell you what, I'm amazed at all the technology that comes out on all this stuff. So it's pretty neat when you can when you look and see what the newer technologies are. I mean, solar is getting huge here in North Carolina and South Carolina. I think I read somewhere else that the North Carolina and South Carolina are just about leading the way on solar heat and solar panels and everything. I know the Apple has a huge warehouse. Well, basically your Siri, when you call Siri, it actually goes to North Carolina. It goes to Newton, North Carolina, and right across from Apple up there at Newton. That is kind of crazy, Apple, Newton, but it's what it is. Or Maiden. I think they call it Maiden. That's the other little town up there. They have the solar panels, and they have them. Of course, they're the tracking kind too. I mean, they'll start in the morning, and you'll see them upright almost, and then you'll see them during the day. And noon, they're almost flat, and then in the afternoon, they're turned the other direction. So they've got a full tracking system on their solar panels up there, and they have, I'd venture to say it's probably 50 acres of solar panels in one spot, probably a good 40 to 50 acres. And all right, JC, I'm gonna have to get off here in a few minutes too. You get that washing machine fixed for Miss Smith. And I've been on here about an hour, so I'm gonna probably get off in here in just a few minutes too, because the wife has some chores for me to do. So I guess I'll just do like JC and I'll get off too, guys. And y'all take care, and happy Veterans Day to everybody, anybody that's a veteran out there. And I appreciate your service. I'm proud of my father and my brother for doing theirs. And so let's have a good Veterans Day today down here in North Carolina. It's nice and warm, not warm, nice and sunny. Cold but sunny, but we're having a great day. So y'all take care, and I'll catch y'all next Sunday.